Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today, the VET official block explorer was released. And oh, by the way, this is the recap of the afternoon stream. So the official block explorer was actually released from Vechain. It's still in beta, but you can see there is real-time tracking of the recent blocks, how much gas there is per block, and the recent text IDs of the transactions. You can click on any of these and you can see the success or failure. I did see several failures, and that was because those are transactions coming from the hacked addresses or the security breach addresses. So they rejected those. But the actual beta VeChain Explorer, you can actually change between mainnet and testnet as well, and they'll be adopting more and more features, and it is actually real time. So in addition to VeChain stats and a couple of other GUI presentations, they are actually getting a lot of stuff done at the foundation, and they have gotten us this Vechain Block Explorer up. And it's still in beta, so they're getting a lot more features up in here as well. So the official Block Explorer is actually up as of right now. The other thing is Iran actually wants a Muslim crypto, and they basically want it to get around U.S. sanctions. They don't like the United States sanctioning them. There's things that they can and can't invest in that's determined by the U.S. Like, for instance, they can't, invest in a nuclear reactor or a nuclear bomb because the U.S. will actually sanction them, and they don't like that. So they've been trying to use Bitcoin to get around the sanctions, but they want to develop their own cryptocurrency to actually help get around the sanctions as well. So they're trying to get other people in the Middle East to actually support them, but unfortunately for the whole Islamic world type of thing, outside of them hating Israel and them hating the United States, they kind of tend to fight each other as well. So I'm not really sure how much of an allegiance Iran is actually going to get for their idea. And Iran has been hit with severe economic sanctions by the U.S., and that does limit how the nation's financial institutions can make investments abroad. So they want to create a crypto to actually circumvent those regulations. Not really sure how successful it's actually going to be. The other thing is Mindol. So Mindol has been shooting up the rankings over the last 2 months, and it's an Ethereum-based token. We've talked a little bit about it on stream, and I actually made a video about it, but it's essentially a new currency for the world of the subculture market. It wants to revive the Japanese subculture worldwide, and it just wants to popularize this Japanese geek culture or otaku culture. Its main objective is to promote the idea of a cool Japan. Japan is pretty cool. The food's really good. The anime is really good, but I don't really know about a coin that actually is there to promote a subculture or anything. So Mindol project will be creating new content in the fields of cool Japan, subculture, and pop culture such as animation, anime, movies, games, cartoons, and music. I've seen a couple of the projects on their chain, and they're just kind of like anime manga projects, nothing really that huge, nothing that will warrant $700 million. So by building a framework that generates world-class competitive content within different fields, Fukahiro Fukuhara, the head of Mindol, believes the project will succeed and establish itself as a highly profitable business. It's been on an exponential surge, but essentially I don't really know how much a coin that promotes otaku culture throughout the world can actually be worth. Maybe I'm wrong and it's a lot bigger than I think, but realistically I'm very, very skeptical. And there are several people like CoinGecko and Satoshi Watch are calling it nonsense and a fraud without any development. I think it probably has some development behind it, but it's definitely not worth what it is now, and it's definitely being pumped by a couple of the big players that are actually behind all of this. So that's really my conclusion on it. I mean, Japan is kind of weird, but a token that promotes otaku culture, can't really see it being in the top 20. And for an example of how Japan is weird, they actually have an island of bunnies. It's called Okunoshima Island. And essentially, they had a bunch of bunnies there that they tested chemical gas on, but those bunnies all got slaughtered at the end of the World War II. And eventually, a lot of people, I guess, brought their pet rabbits there. And over time, they essentially turned into these giant feral rabbits. And people actually go to the island to feed these feral rabbits. So that's your interesting Japanese fact for today. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.